live on Rumboyz NFL AM for week 1 of the NFL season. The season is finally here, and we are pumped to be here for week 1. I'm Drop the Mic FF, but before we get into the show, I have to introduce my cohort, my buddy, the patron saint of fantasy football, Saint Pat FF himself. What is going on, my dude?
Not much. Ready for some NFL action, but before we get going, let's pay some bills. We'll be talking some Monkey Knife Fight promos later on today. Drop $100, get $100 back. We will match you on that with code word Rumboyz in all caps. RUMBOYZ, Rumboyz in all caps. Also, the Stacks app down below, just below me on iOS and Android. Come chat it up with some celebrities. Make all your picks. Give all your takes. Get some fun rebuttals, and let's go there. Mike, do you want to do all 22?
Yeah, so you can on all-22.com. It is the new fantasy football format that is using PFF grades and PFF scoring into their formula. You draft a real team. If you're sick of just drafting a quarterback, a running back, wide receivers, and tight ends, well, this is for you. You get to draft interior linemen. You get to draft a center. You get to draft even a kicker and a punter, defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. Full 11-man squads on both sides of the ball, full 53-man rosters. If you are a degenerate like most of us that ever come on this Rumboyz network, this is for you. All-22.com for your fantasy football all-22 needs. So let's get into the chat real quick. We got Leafs. What's up, Leafs? What is up, Smitty? Yes, that intro drops pretty nice. We love it. It drops hard. And we have to show up our boy Justin. But since it is week 1 and we like to, a little bit of banner on the show, Justin, I love you. But I hope me and Pat beat your ass in the Rumboyz League. And I know you're going to beat us too.
It's gonna go hard. It's week 1. We got less than an hour until Hansen comes on. Hansen is starting a little bit early, so we may cut the show a little bit short for a 9/11 memorial and remembrance and moment of silence.
He's coming on. He's coming on
a few minutes early for that.
Okay.
So just be prepared for that. Take some time today to remember all that was lost on that day, 21 years ago.
Yes.
All right. Let's get.
What do you want to jump into first, Pat?
We'll hit trade questions. Start sit in the chat as they come through.
Yeah, we'll do that as they come.
I think we might as well just go straight down
to odds.
Yeah, straight down, breaking down some games. We'll start with the 1 o'clock games, and we'll kind of go from there. With the two of us, so it should be pretty quick to keep things moving and grooving, and favorite bets from each game. And
then I'll run the. I got the background shit. Okay. So the Jets and the Ravens. Ravens are a 6.5-point favorite, over under 44.
Jets. J.K. Dobbins is out, so you're not starting him. On the money line, it's the Ravens game to lose.
Yeah, money line. They're minus 295.
I got minus 300 over at BetMGM right now.
Yep.
And you taking the over on this? What are you thinking? 45.
Yeah, on DK it's 44. I'm taking the over. I do think that Jets are gonna. We talked about it the other night. I do think the Jets are gonna. I think Flacco isn't a bad thing for this team. I think everyone thinks, it's old man Flacco. I don't think it's necessarily horrible. I think they will get we'll get a couple scores, but I do think that Lamar, Bateman, Mandrews will have their way. I think it'll be like 48.
Okay. You bring up Mandrews, some of his line for tonight, 60 over under 62.5 receiving yards.
Over.
I feel like that's an easy over.
Over.
And on his reception totals, it's at. I don't like the odds on this, but it's an easy over. It's listed at 4.5, but it's at It's at minus 165.
Okay, if it wasn't the odds, I would go to 6.5.
I would like to see 5.5 there. And would you take him for an anytime TD?
Yes.
So let's see. Where is he at on our anytime TDs?
What is up, Matt? How you doing, my dude?
Too many tabs open.
Yeah.
Minus 105 for anytime.
Okay.
Which I think I would take both of those. I'd take the over
All right.
receiving yards and the touchdown.
Yeah. So
putting both of those in right now.
Yeah. So to jump to the next game, we talked about this on Friday night, but we will go through it really quick. Eagles and Detroit. Eagles are still minus 5.5. The over is 48.5. I'm going to stay away from the money or from the over at 48.5, but Pat, you already know I am taking the Lions at plus 5.5.
I'm seeing this more when I don't think I'm playing it. I like the Lions plus 5.5 if I have to play it. I'm staying away from this line. I think it could easily go hard one way. With the Eagles getting out ahead early. If you're playing on DraftKings, you've got your 10-point favorite. If you take a money line, I would take the Eagles on the money line there and just take your money. Because I think that by the end of the second quarter, they'll have been up by 10 points at some point.
Gotcha.
And that should be an easy. The Lions will fight back, and whether it ends at a 4-point game or a 7-point game, I don't know. So
Indianapolis is traveling down to Houston. 7-point favorite. Over under is 45.5. Indy gonna take this easy?
Didn't we think that Indy was going to take it easy week 18? Yes, we did.
Yep.
But
yeah.
We have a new quarterback in town. We have Matt Ryan. I think he's got something to prove going on the road. Divisional matchup. Indy takes it easy. I think you can hit that over. I think the Colts defense will let up in the second half. Texans will put up some points. Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins will do something. Favorite props in this game? I know we talked a little bit off air, but some things that you're liking from this game.
This game I am liking. Anytime TD, I got to go our man JT. I do also like, what was it? I like Matt Ryan over the, what was it I saw? On Sleeper, their Sleeper over-under thing. Yep. I took Matt Ryan over, let me find it real quick. I think it was over 230.
The current line I'm seeing is 237.
Yeah, I think it was like 234, 233 on the Sleeper. I took that over.
This is going to be one of those games where we're not worried about weather today. And I think I could see both quarterbacks setting their overs in this game with Davis Mills at 223, Matt Ryan at 237. A big one with, despite all of the hype for Dameon Pierce, Rex Burkhead over 20.5 rushing yards.
Crush that.
That is one of my favorite bets of this week. Should be an easy hit. He could easily hit it by the end of the first quarter. Because we don't even know if Pierce is going to get the first start, first touches of the game. Where is it? I think I had one more for this game. Nope, I don't.
Okay, so let's get down to an interesting one real quick. We don't got to take too long on this because there's not going to be a lot of good plays. If you're watching TV, if you're paying attention to the weather this morning, it is raining cats and dogs in Chicago. It just showed up on my screen. They are literally going out and squeegeeing the field in between the hashes to get the in between the hashes not so puddly. The Niners are playing the Bears. Niners are still a 6.5-point favorite. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. The over-under is now 38 on DraftKings. 38. Pat told me off air that he's seen it where it's in certain sites where it's gone down 5 or 6 points just because of this weather. I don't even want to touch the over-under whatsoever. I honestly, if I had my choice, I'm playing the running backs in fantasy, and I'm not touching the line. I'm not touching anything else on this game because this game scares me. I saw someone put on Twitter that they just hope that the offensive coordinators just do read option all day and just let the running back and the quarterbacks run all day because it's windy, it's rainy. Pat, you're up in that part of it. I know you're not in Chicago, but you're in the Midwest, and you know when it gets windy and rainy, it can get ugly.
So what I'm looking at here, in terms of props for this game, is I'm going to look at Elijah Mitchell and David Montgomery in their rushing attempts.
Ooh, attempts. That's a good one, buddy. David
Montgomery is set at 14 and a half attempts in a game that could easily just stay on the ground. He is their guy. People love Khalil Herbert. They love the idea of him over David Montgomery, but Khalil Herbert is not going to take away much of the touches. When David Montgomery is healthy, both before and after the Khalil Herbert breakout last year, Montgomery got the work. I'm hitting the over on his rushing attempts at 14.5 at minus 110. Elijah Mitchell, I'm a little more concerned on because his line is at 15.5. Now, he could hit that with just due to the 49ers being a better team in the trenches.
Yeah.
And having longer sustained drives. But I think there's more backs that can take away that workload.
For sure. So the next game, I don't think there's a lot. I mean, odds-wise, we'll see. Pittsburgh Steelers are a +7 underdog to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the over-under is 44.5. Is there any props that you're looking at on that game, or is this one that we can go short?
It's a pretty short game. I try and avoid the big studs and their lines. So I feel like a lot of those guys are going to be – their lines are just big.
What's up, Nick? How you doing today?
Nick Howard, welcome in. Oh, we got Jeff in here. Happy week 1 to you as well, dude.
What's up, geek?
We got to get you in for a Friday night.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, if you want to jump on air with me during some of the games, let me know. DM me.
But yeah, the running backs, they're both a single back system. It can go either way in a lot of those props.
Yeah.
I'm avoiding Mixon and Najee.
All right. So just so we can keep going through, let's go really, really quick.
Wait, anytime TDs on that game? Let me just look at that real quick.
Anytime TD. I mean, I didn't look at the odds, but I mean, I think Mixon's going to score.
Mixon's at a minus 190. I like the T. Higgins plus 120.
Plus 120?
Yep.
Put it down. I mean, that's one I like at plus 120. If you're going to go for odds, that's one I like. But I will say that I am a Higgins lover, so yeah.
And then any of the Steelers pass catchers, you're looking at plus 150 or better odds on almost everyone on the Steelers side, except for Najee at minus 105.
Okay, so before we get into the next game real quick, Nick has a question for us. Would you flex Juju, Renfro, Lockett, or Ramondre? So I'm guessing we have 4 options for one spot. If it's 4, if we have to pick one, I am probably going to take. I want to see what Ramondre does. So
I don't like Ramondre against the Dolphins.
He's saying he's running Cook, Aaron Jones, Evans, Williams. Yep, stay with that. I don't like Ramondre. I want to see what Ramondre does, even though I do like Ramondre.
0.5 PPR.
It's half-point PPR. I would honestly. I'm going either Juju or Renfro. That's where I narrow it down.
I don't want Renfro. I would rank it Juju, Lockett, Renfro, Stevenson.
Okay.
So I think it's Juju.
We're on Juju.
Juju on that beat.
Yep. If we're going combined us, that is Juju. The next game would be Carolina and Cleveland.
Revenge game.
The revenge.
The team that is always trading for quarterbacks. We got the Carolina Panthers.
So you got two guys on that roster that are making $14 million a year. It's only 1 point favorite, so it's pretty much a pick them. The over-under is 42. I'll be honest, besides wanting to see McCaffrey be healthy and want to see Baker revenge a little bit, I'll be honest, Pat, I could care less. I just want to see I just want to see carnage, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think this is going to be a running back game with the way the Browns have to play with Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's a capable backup. I think he's one of probably the 10 or 15 capable backups in the league. Yep. But he's not someone I want to trust when all is said and done with my team.
No.
So I think Baker's the clear best quarterback here. Looking at touchdown lines for the game, you've got...
What's DJ Moore at?
Plus 110. The BetMGM has an interesting single game parlay with DJ Moore to get 75 yards, 8 catches, and 1 touchdown at plus 675.
No.
I'm saying I like it. I don't like the reception total.
That's my issue. That's my issue.
If it was 5 or 6, I'd hit it, but I feel like he's going to end up getting you 7.
It'll be 7 for 80 or something like that.
But player props, let's see. What are we looking at? Rushing and receiving. Christian McCaffrey at 118. It's a lot of yards. Nick Chubb at 85. Kareem Hunt at 60. If I'm looking at, other than DJ Moore, no one in this game is poised for over 50 yards receiving.
So here I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the sleeper stuff right now. The sleeper over-under. DJ Moore, because they change it. Sometimes they take stuff off, put stuff back on. His 2 things right now are receptions at 5.5 and his yards at 62.5. To me, I'm leaning that if I was to put anything down on this one, I would go over on both. What do you think? Because it's 5.5.
It's 5.5. The line on BetMGM right now is 5.5 as well.
Okay.
But the line there is plus 100.
Ooh.
So it's a double up.
Got it. What's their yard? What do they have for his yardage?
Probably roughly the exact same.
Okay, so
I think it's 62.5.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey's receptions is also at 5.5, but at plus 115.
Ooh, yeah. They don't have his catches on here, but they have his receiving yards at 44.5 and his rushing yards at 69.5.
Okay. What do you think about David Bell this week? Making his debut.
I'm staying away from that. I'm staying away from that. I don't know who's going to get. It could be Cooper. It could be him. For all we know, they're going to drop back and freaking something's going to happen and freaking DPJ is going to score a 40-yard touchdown.
And that's the interesting thing is with some of these teams we don't know what's going on with.
Yeah.
They have so many guys that are like in like the 20-yard range. Are they going to get 2 catches for 20 yards?
Yeah, because on Sleeper, DPJ's at 24.5 and Bell's at 20.5.
Like looking at this, at some of these lines, Tommy Tremble for 15.5 yards. Njoku's for 35. Like, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 25. Like, these are really low numbers. Even Kareem Hunt's at 20 yards receiving.
Yeah, he's at 19.5 on Sleeper.
Yep.
Like, that's low. Like, I'm looking at that right now going, do I hit it?
Are we being baited in for all these props? Or is it just the bookies don't know?
In this game?
And they don't want, especially in this game.
Okay, in this game, I think
they just want you to hit the overs.
In this game, I don't think they know. In this game, I don't think they know. Because the offenses are so much different. You bring in Brissett, you don't have Watson, you bring in Mayfield, you bring in Baker late. You have all this turmoil on both. These teams take away everything, in the last 2 or 3 months, these 2 teams have had more turmoil than other teams. And now they're playing each other week 1. I just think it's, So, yeah. For the next game, let's go to real quick.
Welcome back in, Rel. Glad to have you back.
Saints -5.5.
Wait 1 second.
Yep.
Nick, on Nick's comment. Are you referring to David Bell or Donovan Peoples-Jones?
I think he's talking about Bell. I do think he'll be something by the end of the year. I just don't want to touch that game week 1. That's my issue.
I'm really interested in what Amari Cooper is in that for that team. They're paying him $20 million.
Here's his other comment right here.
Yeah. If you're leaning that way, the lines are there for you to really hit that. And happy NFL Day. Dilly, guys.
Dilly. Let's go. All right. So real quick, since we have a bunch of more games to talk about, and we know that me and Pat really want to get into the afternoon slate a little bit, Saints are a -5.5 favorite over the Falcons, over under 43.5. I don't really have much to say except if you're playing DFS, I think that Jameis Winston at 5,300 on DraftKings is a smash in GPP.
I'm smashing the over on this game. Falcons find a way to score at least 17 points. Saints put up enough points.
Got it.
Over. But otherwise, in terms of props, I don't like the wide receiver lines, especially for the Saints. Michael Thomas being active really puts a wrench in that, where they're all around like 45 to 50 yards.
You never
Between
know.
Michael Thomas, Olave, it's going to be ugly. Pitts is around like 50 yards or a little higher than that. How good is Mariota going to be? We don't know.
Yep.
Jarvis Landry's even at 40 yards. It's going to be a mess. Their rushing props, they've updated the lines since earlier when I looked.
Did they?
But they didn't even have Falcons running backs in there.
All right.
But I'm looking in. There's nothing that I'm screaming you need to hit on because Alvin Kamara can do it both out of the backfield and on the ground. All right. I've been talking a lot, but I'm talking very fast.
No, you're fine. So let's do one more morning game, then we'll get into the afternoons because I want to do a couple monkey knife fight before the end of the show. Let's go do Giants and Titans. Giants are a 5-point underdog to the Titans on the road. Over-under is 44. Before I let Pat speak, I have been saying I do not think the Giants are going to win this game, but I will say that I have been upfront that I do not think the Titans are as good as they were last year. So if you do have conviction that the Giants are going to be an upstart team and do something, I wouldn't mind the +5. The over-under is at 44. Take it away, Pat.
Props that I'm looking at, I loved Kadarius Toney at over 38.5. He was looking great last year until he had the ankle injury. He's healthy now. Get him the ball. Let him be open in space. I love Saquon Barkley in this game. I think he's got a lot to prove. It's been a long couple of years for him. Lots of injuries. That fluke ankle injury last year was absolutely ugly. It was like the worst case scenario fluke of just walking back to the huddle and just stepping on someone's foot. It was ugly. So I am hitting the over on his 92.5 rushing and receiving yards. I'm hitting the over on his rushing yards of 57. And I think I might hit him for an anytime TD as well. Actually, I'm not going to hit that because it's at -150. It's bad odds for it, but I think he does hit it.
I completely agree with Barkley all around. We're on the same page on that one.
What's ugly is if you're wanting to take Derrick Henry for an anytime TD in this game, you're looking at -250. You're almost having to bet first or last.
Oh.
To have any type of return on it. We're putting it as part of a much bigger parlay. Welcome in, J Money. We're glad you're here. It's Sunday.
It's time,
I've been waiting for this for 6 or 7 months. It's great.
I love it. So let's get into some
Raiders Charger.
Let's get into some heated stuff. Let's get into Raiders Chargers. So I love this game. Just as a fan of football, I could care less about the Raiders, but that's me being a fan. Raiders plus 3.5, Chargers minus 3.5. Obviously, over under is 52.5. Pat, I haven't really looked at some player props on this one, but what have you seen in your investigations?
This is one of those games where I like the Chargers. I don't like the 3.5 spread. I want the 2.5 spread.
Okay.
I will sacrifice that point and for 30 extra points because I think this game can come down to a field goal, and I'd hate for it to end with a minus 3.5 with a 3-point gap. I just hate the way scoring works and numbers work in the NFL.
Yes.
Player props, not a ton that I love in this game. Other than hitting Devontae Adams, I actually did my only parlays was on this game. Took Austin Eckler for 3 receptions. Adams with 7 receptions. Adams with 75 yards. Carr with 2 passing touchdowns and 255 yards. Josh Jacobs for 35 yards. And Devontae Adams to score for plus 625. So it's very Carr and Adams focused as they are now reunified together, long lost lovers, separated by the great Midwest, and are now back together and hopefully succeeding. I want the best for Devontae Adams. He was a great Packer, and I wish him the best.
So I agree with you on that. The only thing I really need to say about the Chargers Raiders game is I brought Nick's comment up at the same time because of this. I'm a Mike Williams guy this year. I was last year, but I just think that whole offense is going to open up more with Gerald Everett in there, with Eckler, with Keenan Allen, Mike Clay in his cornerback wide receiver matchup stuff that he does. Said that Keenan Allen has one of the top 2 toughest matchups this week, and his other one was that Devontae did, but with Keenan having a tough matchup, I'm hoping that means that Mike Williams gets to eat a little bit because I do have him and stuff, but that's another thing. That's just fantasy purposes, but I think Mike Williams is going to do decent. I've even seen people think that Josh Palmer could have an okay game, but for the next game that we're going to be talking about, let's see. Let's just do it. Kansas City Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals. The Chiefs are a 6.5 point favorite. The over-under is 54. I don't bet on my team. I can't anyway because I'm in California. So I won't say if they're going to win or lose on the spread because I don't know, and I really don't care as long as they get the W. So, Pat, take it away.
I like the Cardinals plus 6.5. I feel like this game spread and the line got out of line.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are really down on the Chiefs this year, and the one group of people that is not are bookies.
But you are.
I believe the Chiefs finished 3rd or 4th in the division, but a lot of the lines don't reflect what a lot of people are saying, or at least what the people that I hang around with, the people that I talk to, the people that I listen to on the radio, the people I listen to on TV. Patrick Mahomes is great. He and Rodgers both have opportunities this year to do similar things without their top receiver.
The over-under just went down 0.5 point, literally, while I was talking to you.
Okay. Down to 54?
Yep.
So, with that said, I like the Cardinals at plus 6.5 here. Player props, we talked about Juju earlier being a start. His line is at 46.5 yards today. I really like that. I'm staying away from Travis Kelce's 73.5 yard line. That's just very high. So I don't like BetMGM because their interface is all really bright with slight shades of gray.
Oh.
And it made James Conner's line for rushing and receiving yards an 8 look like a 6. And I thought it was 65.5 yards which I would
80.
smash that all day.
But it's 85,
It's
right?
85. I think in terms of props, I think it's a wait-and-see game here for this team. I don't think that no one is screaming at me looking at this of, you have to take this, you have to take this.
Yep. All right, so we have one more big game to get into. Because we can talk about the night game, but let's get into the big one, the other big one that I'm interested in, and I know you are too. The Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are a 2.5-point favorite over the Packers with the over-under being 46.5. To me, if you are going to take the Packers to win this game, it's 2.5. I'm taking on DK. If I was to take the Packers, I would just go straight money line at plus 110 instead of the 2.5 at minus 110. That's just me.
Yep.
Pat, is there any props or anything that you see? Because I know it's your team. So
yeah, props on this game. It's take your pick on the Packers running backs. I think both can have great games. I like AJ Dillon's. Where did it go? AJ Dillon's longest rush for 12 yards or more.
really, I agree with you. Really?
Yeah.
12?
Yeah.
I would have done it like 17 or 18.
He's one of those bowling ball type backs. So he's consistently gets that downfield, dragging 2 or 3 guys with him. I see him dragging Big Z down with him for a few extra yards.
Exactly.
Big fuck you, Z. Anyway,
that's another subject.
That's a whole other thing. And
we got
my favorite thing with it was, generally speaking, Packers were like, okay, good luck to you. Have a good time. You heard me not 2 minutes ago talking about Devontae Adams. I agree with that, Nick. He has a chance to be in the top 30. Yep. And it ultimately comes down to injuries and how everything plays out. I would never rank him there, but it comes down to injuries.
Hold on. Dodo! Hi!
Welcome in, C-Yard.
C-Yard, my boy! Boom, 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 boom. C-Yard, I'm going to put when game time starts, I will be on talking about games, so join in, buddy. AJ has a quick question.
Can I finish my rant and then we'll get into AJ's question?
Go ahead.
Vikings fans went from Z was the most overrated defensive player there is in the world to he's God's gift to humanity as soon as he signed with the Vikings. And for me, that was just priceless to watch as NFL free agency started. Is you can't hate on the guy and say he's overrated and he's crap and he's garbage. And then just flip to, it's like if the Red Sox were to do that with Aaron Judge. And free agency comes and he signs with the Red Sox. Like, oh my gosh, he was amazing. He should have, Pick two. David Montgomery, Rashad Stevenson, St. Brown, Hall, or MT. So right now, they're saying that Michael Carter is going to probably start as the starter, and they're going to work Reese in. The Ramondre Stevenson. I love Stevenson. He's the guy I like in New England, but I need to see it first. The rain in, like Pat said earlier, the rain in Frisco. To me, David Montgomery is a lock as one of your two. I kind of want to go David Montgomery and St. Brown, but I think Pat's going to disagree. I like MT.
Yeah, I do too.
I like what he does to open up that team. I don't know if he gets top corner coverage in that game coming off the injury. If I knew the answer to that question, it would solve this. Amon-Ra is your stay safe, get your 14 points. MT is your hero shot.
Okay. I think C-Yard's already started early. It's only 9:30 where we're at. But C-Yard. Dono! Hype!
All right. CB, welcome in.
What up, CB?
We're just finishing up breaking down games. If you have a game that you want to go back to, you can rewind the stream and watch this again.
If you have any fantasy questions, hit us up in the chat, and I'll put them up on the board. So I'm going to go to Monkey Knife Fight real quick since we have a promo code for all capitals Rumboyz, RUMBOYZ.
Mike, you didn't sound like you were like thinking about it, having to like think about your spelling there.
It's 9:30, and I had a long night watching UFC fights. I am not. Let's just say,
I was just more attacking your intelligence, but that was.
Oh, I know you are, and that's fine with me. Is there a certain game or a certain matchup that you would like me to look at the MKF, buddy?
Since we haven't talked about it yet, let's talk Cowboys Bucks.
Okay, I'll go to that game.
I feel like a lot of what we already talked about can get into those, how we would answer those questions earlier. Yeah.
So for passing yards for the quarterbacks, Tom Brady is 279.5, and Dak is at 270.5.
Under on Dak, over on Brady.
Over under. Okay, CB does have a question. Pick two. Monty, Bateman, or Penny. So Monty's a lock. And period. Monty to me is a lock. Bateman or Penny?
I don't.
Just go flip a coin up in the air 10 times. No. I thing that stinks is you have Penny tomorrow night, so it's just like
you're waiting.
Yeah. And then if Bateman has a good game, you're gonna sit there and go, "What the heck did I do?" and blah 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 blah.
I think Bateman is the number 2 option in that Ravens offense without knowing who the running back is. I'm gonna go Bateman there and say Lamar has that big game passing.
Okay, so C-Yard has a question just for Pat. I'm gonna just put it up on the board and just laugh my ass off because I know why CR put this up there. You read it, Pat. You go while I look up another.
What's the over/under on how many four thank you downs the Chief lose to Juju dancing? What would the fantasy impact be? I think the guy you're looking for is his former teammate Chase Claypool, as he strings the arrow, fires it for the first down, and fails to get ready at the line as time ticks on down. I'll say 1. Over under 0.5. But each of those would be negated by a successful TD dance.
Yeah. So CB says he does have Lamar at QB. So yeah, stick with the stack.
Yeah. Stack is more important in like daily and big tourney plays, but here you're fine. I don't go out of my way to do that, but yes.
Walker is not playing tomorrow.
Yep.
So he's out because of his hernia. So that's why I think you could play Penny.
I mean, Penny's a good player when he's healthy. He had one of the best down the stretch, and it gives you something to root for on Monday. If you don't have anything to root for on Monday, put him in your lineup.
Yep. So for Monkey Knife Fight, we got another one. It's 1 running back and 1 wide receiver. So Zeke, 46.5 yards rushing. Mike Evans, 67.5 receiving.
Over
46.5 and 67.5.
I like to think that the Cowboys figure out a way to use Zeke better this time around against the Cowboys or against the Bucks. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't play that other than answering your question on it.
Well, what I don't like that Monkey Knife Fight did is instead of matching the running backs with the running backs and the wideouts with the wideouts, they flipped it the other way. And here's the other one: Leonard Fournette at 55.5, and CD Lamb at 71.5.
CD Lamb's over, and I'm okay hedging that and playing the same game twice.
Yeah. So, Sean, you're always on the stream. So here we go. Pick one: Damian Harris, Bateman, or Nico Collins.
Bateman.
I'm actually ranking this Bateman, and I'm saying this because Nick's comment that I'll pull up in a second. I'm ranking this Bateman, Collins, Harris for week 1.
Yep.
And Nick, I honestly don't think you're that crazy on this one. He is a WR2, and our boy Scott Simpson has been proving that WR2s are good.
Wide receiver 2 theory. Check it out with Scott over at Nimblue Numbers. Yeah. He's always tweeting it out because it's his little baby. And
it's his baby. And he does decent.
Who does Houston face? I believe the Colts.
Colts, yeah. So let's see. I'm gonna go to a Monkey Knife Fight just so you can help me put one in real quick.
Okay.
Jameis Winston 225.5, Mariota 218.5.
I like the over on Mariota. No, on Jameis. Sorry,
Jameis.
Same quarterback class.
Yeah.
And I like the under.
Okay.
What do you think on that?
I'm not sure, but I was just going through this game. I just want to put something in on this game. Oh, here we go. Kyle Pitts, 59.5 yards receiving. Alvin Kamara, 62.5 yards rushing. Wow, this is ugly.
I hate so.
I'm not touching.
I talk Monkey Knife Fight with my my buddy at work all the time, and he refuses to play Monkey Knife Fight because their lines are so good. And that is the perfect example of it. I think Pitts hits the over on it, but I don't like putting money on that because I don't feel strongly one way.
Mm-mm.
Alvin Kamara, the same thing. He could end up having a game where he has 12 catches, and they're all that short dink and dunk, Theo Riddick type stuff that used to happen all the time in Detroit, where that was their running game, was short dink and dunk passes. And what do you do with that if you have the rushing yards there?
So just for shits and giggles, I just looked at this just because I know it would be funny to look at. So they've been updated, obviously. Justin Fields, 179.5.
Over.
Trey Lance, 177.5. I know. I just looked at it just because of the rain. They popped up on the rain again. I'm like, oh, let me look. And
because do you trust Cole Kmet to catch the ball? I trust Cole Kmet and Mooney to catch the ball.
But do I trust Mooney to get the ball down the field in this weather?
I trust him to juke someone.
Okay.
I trust what's his name? I trust Debo to catch the ball if it's in his area.
So here's one that you'll love if you trust Kmet, because I do. Kmet, 32.5 yards receiving. I would put over, correct? Here's the thing that they matched him up against, though, Pat. Those sneaky punks. They matched him up against Trey Lance's rushing yards of 40.5. All right, so sleepy, refresh. Are you sleepy or are you awake? But your question is, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, Michael Thomas, full PPR pick 2s. Pat, you start because I think you already know where I'm going.
The theme of the day is Start Monty. I think we could have just retitled this broadcast Start David Montgomery.
Yeah.
But he's in that range of players you would start versus sit. Like, of course he's going to be there, but I feel like he's a good matchup. I think he'll do fine. And I really like ETN here. Even if he's the RB2 on the team and James Robinson gets to start, the books aren't reflecting that by any means. I think he still gets several catches. which will give you that solid floor there.
Got it. So I'm just going to let Pat go with that one. This one, or is it that one? This one real quick. This one's interesting to me, CB. I am a Hollywood Brown guy. I love Hollywood Brown, but I am, as Pat knows, I am also a Gibson stan. I am a Gibson truther, even though he might still be running from the cops. Jokes aside. I think Gibson's a good play this week, but I also think Hollywood Brown is a good play this week. I know Rondell Moore's out. Ertz is supposedly going to play, and they are going against my team. And as Pat knows, our secondary needs to prove that they have something, because otherwise I'm going to have ulcers all year long, because, yes, Pat, they're shit. They were shit last year. We got rid of shit. We got rid of Sorensen. Honey Badger's gone. We have Thornhill. We picked up a couple of guys on defense in the draft. See, even Pat's daughter thinks that my team's defense is shit. I mean, that's it. That just shows you. I mean, come on, Evie. My team's not that bad.
She's walking over here to tell you that your team's bad.
Exactly. So on this one, I don't know, Pat. I love them both. I like them both. I'm starting them both in real lineups.
The frustration that people saw with Gibson last year early on, he is not intended to be that guy for the team. I feel like McKissick will get plenty of run. Gibson will get run, but he won't get the passing down work that we want him for, or the 2-minute drill work. Mm-hmm. Give me Hollywood Brown, because I feel like he can take one to the house. I don't see that opportunity from Hollywood or from Gibson tonight.
Yeah, for sure. There's Nick's. Another one.
Yeah,
we are
so
at the 10-minute mark.
For casual fans, I really like what Nick said here.
Which part?
With
that one I just
Gibson.
Yeah.
If he does well early, you can trade him in your home leagues to players that don't realize that Robinson is coming back.
Yes.
And you can get good value for him, or higher value than you would otherwise. And just say yes when they offer you something. If you know you're getting a good deal, just say yes, accept it, move on.
Yeah, don't do anything crazy.
Yep. Don't burn yourself by asking for too much.
Yep. Quick question for you. In one of the high-scoring games, the Chargers and the Raiders, do you have a TD dance? And they did move it up where you have to get 3 touchdowns.
So it's the line that's 2.5 is the lowest end.
Yep. And that 3 scares me now, like on touchdown dances in general.
I feel like you're throwing Eckler in there.
Yep.
Eckler, Adams, and then choose your take your Mike Williams.
Yep, that's what I would. Yeah.
Eckler, Adams, or not Cup. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
Those K sounds. But we are just under 10 minutes away from kickoff. Hanson has a moment of silence and a video remembrance for 9/11. So from those of us here at the Rumboyz, we want to say thank you for watching. We hope you guys have a great day. Mike will be around through the afternoon, and we'll be there for you to continue to answer your sports betting questions as the day progresses, and enjoy the play-by-play. All right. Dilly, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.